All right, thank you. So from the questions that we've received at the first couple of sessions, we decided that this was probably something that everybody was wanting to learn a little bit more about, because I think we did a good job of helping you to feel comfortable with what we're doing at school and on our devices. But unfortunately, that's just a small percentage of the amount of devices that our kids are on. So I wanted to give you guys just a couple of ideas, some places to turn to maybe help out at home. And I focused on 3 of them. There are a lot of them, and I went and did some research and asked around and got some reviews as well to try to give you what I think 3 are some of our best options. Now, before we get into it, I just want to reiterate the fact of what Dr. Arnett was saying, that these are not just a solution that you can just put in and say, we're covered. And it's very much the same that we do at school. We've got a lot of resources tied into making sure that we're filtering and monitoring these devices, but we still have to have conversations daily. We have to have conversations as an admin team. We have to have conversations within my technology team, with parents, with teachers. It's never ending. So I want to make sure that as we're talking about these, that you understand that, hey, just putting one of these on is not going to fix it. Because as you Google these, if you Google or go to YouTube and type in one of these tools, you'll see like 3 or 4 like how-tos, and then you're going to see like 3 or 4 how to get around this thing that I'm telling you about. So that just there shows you what we're up against. There are people out there actively trying to make sure that your kids aren't filtered, or the other kids that figured it out. So it has to be a conversation all the time. But with that said, I feel like we've got some really good tools to show you guys tonight. And so I'm going to start off with Circle. And here's a short video that kind of explains it.
They eat, play, break, laugh, sleep. And you probably hear a lot of this.
I'll be off in a sec.
Say hello to Circle. The easiest way to manage all your family's connected devices, whatever they are, wherever they go. Download the app and plug it in. So now you can turn this into this with a time limit. And this into this with a bedtime. That's a no for Snapchat, yes for YouTube, and maybe for Instagram? Nah, just kidding. Time for supper. Then some chores. Let's this for the whole week. How long has he been on that thing? 98% on your test. That deserves a reward. And for devices that are on the go, Circle works there too. Family time's a thing again, and parenting is just a little less crazy. Say hello to Circle.
We put that back in present. Circle is probably one of the most well-known one of these tools out there. With that, there is a lot of development. There's a lot of money behind this. Disney has partnered up with them, and a couple other of the big router companies. I believe Netgear has also partnered up with them. And so just to give you a brief explanation, Circle is going to be an actual physical device that you put on at home, that you put with your router, and there are a lot of really good videos for parents. It's very simple to understand for how to install it, how to plug it in, how to get it going. And it's also apps that go out on all the different devices. So what it allows you to do is you can do things like you saw in the video. You can pause it, you can set time limits, you can set filters as well. So you can do a lot of the same things that we can do at the enterprise level at your house. I have a few screenshots from their website that kind of illustrates, I think, what they do really well. And what a lot of people like about Circle is the interface is just extremely user-friendly. It's a lot of big on and off buttons, big pause buttons, and I think that is something that parents really want, because a lot of times we're doing these things because we don't understand. We don't understand what all they're into or what they could be into, so we need something that's going to be simple for us to monitor and watch. So as I said, you can filter the devices, so you can get reports on what your kids are searching for, what they're looking for, and you can back down the filters or turn them up if you need to. If you have older kids, you might have a more loose setting and then have those conversations and say, hey, you know what, I saw some of these things come through. We need to have a conversation, and we're also going to maybe tighten this filter up, until we can build that trust as we move forward. The time limits, I think, are really a good thing. I know I've got a 7-year-old and a 4-year-old, and nighttime is always a tough time because they wind down, they watch a few videos. You know what? I'm okay with it. We've ran, we've played, we've done a lot, and I'm okay with just that. But a lot of times it's transitioning from that into bedtime or that into whatever we need to do. And I think coming up with the family plan, which you're going to hear about here in a little bit from some of our other speakers, combined with something that can actually just help you say, it's out of my hands. This thing is going to shut off, And a lot of times it's a negotiation, or a hostage negotiation, as I call it in the house. It's like, all right, so something else pushes the showtime back, and now we're pushing everything back, and we're saying, hey, you're eating into your showtime right now. And if we kind of have that hard set thing in our family and an understanding, I think it will help the kids to understand, hey, I know that at 7:30 I can't watch a show anymore. It's not going to happen. So I think it's just an added little buffer for us to help out in those negotiations. And this is the pause the internet. So if you're just, say, hey, it's an acceptable time, but something has happened. I think the biggest thing that I struggle with is I hear when I'm done, I'll come when this video is over, or one more round, or one more game. And those things drive me crazy. And I would, as much as I need to take control, sometimes it would be nice if I had a little bit of help. Because I can go in there and say it, but man, if we just ratchet that down and have those conversations, I think it'll help out a lot. So what I'm going to get into a little bit with this and the next couple of tools is there is some cost associated with some of these tools. The one you saw in the video, Circle, I believe it's Home Plus or Home Protection Plus, and it's their newest product. When you buy it, you pay for the actual device. It's $129, so it's not cheap. But what I think you get in return is really valuable. That will cover premium features for the whole first year. And all that stuff that we've talked about, they have a free version, where it kind of does some of the things, but you can't, put it on as many devices or it limits your account. With the premium, you pretty much can do whatever you need to do. The second year you have it, after you pay for it, you get the first year free. The second year, it's $9.99 a month. And so that's some of the costs that's associated with that. They're always updating their product line and changing the way that they market things. So I go to their website all the time. It's meetcircle.com. And I think all the links are in here as well whenever we release these as well. So you can click on them and see links to all these various tools. It's widely kind of accepted as the top overall solution that covers a lot of different things, and primarily for that user friendliness. I think is what makes it such a high value. I've got a couple of more options. The first one, Custodio, it is highly regarded due to the fact that it has some really advanced things to help you monitor social networks. So when you're in Family Circle or when you're in Circle, you are watching what they're doing and managing the time, but sometimes we want to know what's going on in Instagram. Okay, maybe it's enough that we know they were on it for 20 minutes, but what were they doing on it? So there's some more options there. It's got different pricing tiers, so you can kind of select what you need. So if you just have one phone and they have an Xbox that's online and that's it, then you can actually pay less. And it actually is a lot more cost effective than the Circle solution. One of my favorites is the Kaspersky Safe Kids. And there is actually, Kaspersky we use that for our endpoint on our computers, our antivirus and things like that helps us keep from getting bad stuff on our devices. This is a company that's been around for a really long time. They have a really affordable solution that kind of combines a lot of the different aspects that we've talked about. I believe their pricing model is like $14.99, and that gets you a whole bunch, and it's not per month. It might be something that as they release each year, maybe you have to buy it each year. But they also have some of the social network monitoring as well. The difference with all of these things, These are going to be more app-based, and that circle, what a lot of people like is it sits on your home network. So if you have Wi-Fi at home, it sits on there. Everybody that connects to it, you can see what's going on. They don't even need to have the agent. So if your kid has friends over and they get on your network, it'll show up. Their friends will start popping up, and you can say, yes, they can get on. No, they can't get on. So there's a lot of pros and cons with all of them, but we wanted to give you guys a couple of different options. And so at the end, if you guys have any questions about any of these things, I'll be more than happy to help you out. As I said, all the links are in the presentation, and there are hundreds of more solutions out there, but these are 3 that I think are the best. With that said, I'm going to hand this off over to Dr. April Hawkins, and she's going to talk a little bit about on the go, helping us when we're out in the world.
Good evening. All right, well, I don't know about you, but I have 3 teenagers in our house. I have 2 15-year-olds and a young lady who just turned 17. And so as a mom, we're a busy family. We're on the go. My kids play sports. And we're always kind of, as a parent, trying to monitor my children, just like many of you. So we use an app in our family called Life 360. Anybody use Life 360? Okay, some of you already know the app. Okay, I use a free version, and I'll have prices here at the end. But the free version actually does some amazing things. I'm going to let you watch the video, and I'll tell you a little bit about how I use it in our house. I can immediately look on Life 360 and I can see where their phone is and their face pops up and I can see exactly, oh, I need to turn around and go back to Nan's house to get their phone. So that'd be like an easy thing. Let's say they're on a ball game and I know that their bus is going to be back. Usually they're pretty good now to send you a text. But let's say I kind of want to monitor because maybe I'm out and about getting groceries. I can pull up Life 360. I can see where they're at and it'll tell me how many minutes away they are from the house. So I know how many minutes I have until I need to meet them, let's say at high school to pick them up. So that's a pretty cool thing. Let's say, because I have a daughter who's now starting to date, and she tells me she's supposed to be at a certain location, I can always look up on the phone and see that she's exactly where she's supposed to be. Again, not that I don't trust my daughter, but it's another layer of accountability, and they know that I can see where they're at. Again, I've been a teenager before. I also know that kids can say, oh, well, my battery died when I try to call them. Well, this app will also let you monitor their battery. So you know exactly how much battery is on their phone, so they can't say it's like I turned it off, like I know they turned it off. So it's a really great tool. Probably the best thing that I love about Life 360, and again, I'm using the free version. I had one day, actually just a couple weeks ago, my daughter was going to pick up a friend and take her to ball practice. It was on a Saturday morning. And I don't know where this friend lives, but my daughter was going to drive, go pick her up, take her to practice. Well, all of a sudden I get a call, and my friend, or her friend, says, hey, April, I need you to come to my house. Your daughter just passed out in the car. And which at first I had to make sure she was driving. And so it was a medical emergency, and my daughter's never passed out, never had any issues. And immediately I'm calling my husband, luckily he works for King County Ambulance, and so we are both going to where we think she is, but I don't know the exact location. I've never been to this girl's house, and it's at an apartment complex. Well, sure enough, the app, I didn't even know it till that day, the app has a place where you can just hit a button, and it takes you the directions. It took us exactly to where she was at. And here, luckily, I had a friend on the line with me, kind of giving me directions. But my husband, I couldn't be on the phone with both of us. He had hit that button, and it took us exactly right to where she was at. So that was a really great feature. Let's see if there's anything else I want to share about that. So batteries, and medical emergencies. Oh, and the best part, I think is funny. So my son, I don't know about you guys when you come home, your kids have chores. Well, my son has figured out he monitors me. So he knows when I'm going to be home and how many minutes he has to get his chores done. So I think that's kind of cute that they also can monitor us. And so you can set up alerts so I know when they've left the house, I know when they arrive at the house, and I have alerts set up for when they get to school or when they leave school. So it kind of gives me little alerts throughout the day so I know exactly where they're at. And I know their schedules anyway, but it's just another great peace of mind. So, and actually I'll go back to this. So if you wanted to upgrade, now again, I only use a free version. Oh, and another thing I forgot to mention, it lets you know their highest speed. So whether they're driving or they're in a car with a friend, it will tell you their path of exactly where they went, and it will tell you what their highest speed was. Now, the fancier versions will give you a whole lot more alerts that you can check out. I don't do those. It looks like one of them was $2.99 a month or $34.99 a year, and then there's an upgrade that's about $69 a year. Again, I just use a free version, and there are actually some other features I can tell you about afterwards if you're interested. So, Life 360, free app. You can monitor your kids. They can monitor you, but it's a great app, and it'll give you peace of mind. Thank you.
So I'm Landon Graham, principal over at Cedar Ridge Intermediate, and I'm going to be talking. I've got my partner in crime back there, Mr. Harris. He's going to be helping me out. So we've kind of talked about some of the apps and some of the ways that we can kind of be parents toward our children and monitor what they're doing when they're using digital media. But we also want to encourage them to start that transitioning to thinking like an adult. And unfortunately, when we are giving my little girl, who is 2.5 years old, has had a tablet in her hand at times during her life since she's about 1 year old, and she loves it. And I could sing you the Baby Shark song, and from every version, probably from Spanish to French, every version you can think of. But we want to teach them how to become responsible digital citizens as well. So what we're going to be going over, we found a site that was sponsored by the American Academy of Pediatrics, and it's creating a personal family media use plan. So basically, when you go to this website, it talks about starting your family media plan, and then so we want to get that started. So then you would enter your family name, and the thing I think that's really nice about this site is it's age appropriate. So my child, my little Lily, she's 2.5. The things that are on the media contract that we would, the plan that we would agree upon, looks a lot different for a 2.5-year-old versus a teenager. So for the various age groups that are available, you would see that. So I would guess, Mr. Harris, what do you think? Should we go, let's do maybe 6 to 12. So it starts off, and there's 10 different areas that it really focuses on. And the first one is what places in our house are going to be screen-free zones. And this just isn't phone-based, tablet-based, or computer-based. It's any digital media, so it does include the television. So agreeing in what places, what rooms in the house are you going to agree upon as a family are screen-free zones. So this is a really good, I'm getting ready to do this. I was telling my wife Amanda about this, and we already need to do this because I was reading through this, and there are some areas that we need to do a better job as parents already with our 2.5-year-old. So you can check as a group, you're talking through this with your child, depending on their age. And you can even, as you can see down there at the bottom, if you want to type, if there's not an option that you want to be on their room that maybe in the laundry room that's not available, you can always put that in on your own. Thank you, Mr. Harris. So the next section that you would agree upon are screen-free times in your household. So the one area that we are guilty of, and I'm sure maybe some of you out there are guilty of as well, my little one loves to watch the tablet right before bedtime. So that's something we need to talk about as a family, because that may not be very good for her to get to sleep very well, even though I feel like at times it does help her get a little easy to sleep. But areas in the home where you want to make sure they're not going to have screens. And it could be while doing their homework, family time, which I think is a huge one, meal times. And this is all a thing that you can do as parents and the child, and let them have their say, but don't forget we are the parents, so ultimately what we would say needs to go. Also, another area that you would talk about on your media plan are device curfews. So, agreeing upon where these devices are going to charge. In our household, it will always be the master bedroom because that is the room the farthest away from where she is, and she would always have to go through mom and dad's room to get to the device. If a device is left in their room, it's really hard to have that self-control to know as a kid if you can't sleep that night and you're bored. All I've got to do is go over there, get my phone, get my tablet, turn my video game. Another thing is if they've got their notifications on and they're either vibrating or sound notifications, it's going to be extremely difficult for a young child not to want to go check out, hey, did my friend just text me something? Did they send me a picture or anything like that? So another area is choosing and diversifying your media. I liked this because it talks about areas that you are going to agree upon to co-view as a family. I thought it was a good idea because it can help you to show them what a productive digital citizen looks at. So maybe some like PBS content, some learning content, or homework. If they're going to school here at Branson, working on through Pearson on the Envision Math site, things of that nature. And then the next area kind of just talks about various digital medias that you might want to make a rule about when they have that recreational screen time. What are you okay, what are you not okay with them utilizing during that agreed upon time? Balancing online and offline time, and basically, I think that's trying to be a good steward of their mental health and helping teach them that they do need to have a life outside of their phone. Exercise, sleeping, discussion time, meal time, things of that nature. And of course, manners matter. I think we are always fighting this battle, but just trying to teach them the importance of using manners, whether they are on digital media or not. So also using manners while on digital media. Digital citizenship. So this is also teaching them this is what we try to do here at school a lot too, is teaching them how to be a productive digital citizens. And Mr. Harris is back there showing you a few of the options. So respecting the privacy of others, not being rude or bullying anyone online, telling a parent or other trusted adult if we get messages or photos that make us uncomfortable. So things that may not always be the most comfortable to go over with your child, depending on age appropriate, but albeit very necessary to keep our kids safe in today's world. So the next area is safety first. Just agreeing upon these are the rules as a family that we will have about our digital media. And I think that last one, if you'll go back up to that, do not befriend, chat with, or virtually game with someone without a parent's permission. That's a huge one, all right? I have 4th, 5th, and 6th graders in my building, and video gaming is, as many of you that have children that age, is huge. And if they are using internet-based gaming, they are chatting with people. If we're not supervising that, they are chatting with people worldwide that are playing that same game. And we can't pretend that there aren't people with ulterior negative what's the word I'm looking for? Motives, there we go. That are on those video games like that for a purpose. So make sure you discuss that kind of thing with your child so that they know who they can talk to that you all have agreed upon through your digital family media plan. And the importance of sleep and exercise, being a past physical educator, I'm a big proponent for this. They need to get outside. I drive through my neighborhood every night, and I don't see a lot of kids outside, and it makes me sad, especially this weather that we're having right now. It's absolutely gorgeous. Dr. Swapper was saying the other day, if you can't get up today and feel good and alive, there's something wrong with you. We need to show them that the importance of getting outside, getting exercise, and taking care of their bodies, not just their minds. So, thought this was a great site, and Mr. Harris, real quick, if you wouldn't mind showing that media time calculator, thought this was a really cool option that this website provided. And basically, you are creating, after you've done this plan, you're utilizing this plan to basically plot your child's day, agreed upon day, from the things that you all discussed in creating the media plan. And it kind of shows you how much screen time. Right now it's maxed out with sleep and with the screen time. But after you fit down, if you scroll down just a little, there we go, you would go upon the agreed upon things that you've done, and it'll show you how much screen time in that child's average day that they would have. So this is something we just found online. Like we said, that was put out by the American Pediatric Association, but it was very, very user-friendly, and it did, like I say, differentiate by the age of your child. Thought that was really nice, and it's just a common sense approach to help them, start to become a little bit more self-responsible as they become a digital citizen in the world. So I think after that, I'm going to turn it over back to Dr. Arnett, and we'll start addressing maybe some questions.